Joining us today is Emma, one of our very own exchange students right here in Ming Chuan University from Lithuania. And when I saw her stamp book, it was packed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He taught me how to say, as I understand, Playboy. In Taiwanese, that it is Janan.
You hear that, women? Janan. Use it very wisely.
Very wisely, indeed. Yeah, I came here a bit earlier, but then I realized that, oh hell, I'm alone here. I can only speak to the 7-Eleven employee here. Cool. So yeah.
Wait, sorry. Okay. Hello and welcome to the MCU English News podcast, the voice of the International College right here in Ming Chuan University, where we bring you stories shaping students' lives. I am your host, Caniqua Elliot, and today for you, our viewers and listeners, we have something very special. As college students, we're all from different parts around the world, from different regions, and some of us come from halfway across the world. But what some of you may or may not know is that some of us are only here for maybe a semester through the exchange programs with our sister schools. Joining us today is Emma, one of our very own exchange students right here in Ming Chuan University from Lithuania. We'll dive into her experiences, her culture shocks, her favorite moments, and what it really is like to be an international exchange student right here in Taiwan. Welcome, Emma.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, Emma, can you give us a brief introduction?
Yes, of course. So I am Emma Tertelita. I am 22 years old now. I am originally from Lithuania, as you mentioned. However, I have studied now for almost 3 years in the Netherlands for my university. And my university requires us to do one semester of another course, something not related to my course, basically. And one of the choices is exchange. So I decided that I would love to come for exchange, and I would love to come to Taiwan.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, before we delve into your experience here in Taiwan, how about you tell us a little bit more about where you're from, about Lithuania? Where is it and what's the culture like?
So it is in Europe. We are technically called we have even the middle point of Europe, basically like the very, very middle point of Europe. However, I think that because we are so on a verge of both Eastern Europe and Western Europe, I would say that it's a very that reflects in our culture a lot as well. So from geography, our country is in the Baltics. So there's Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia.
Yeah.
And then comes the Scandinavian countries. So the thing is that I would say that my country is a really good example of having both the Eastern culture and also the Western culture as well, because we try to make our attitude, our lifestyle, and our general views on life based on the Western views. However, we also have a lot of the Eastern culture that came within the history. So yeah, it's like the perfect middle around that, I would say.
Awesome. So it's like a mix.
Yeah, I would say so.
Great. So you did speak about the culture being mixed a bit. Can you tell us about any holidays or cultural events that you guys have in your country?
I could, but the thing is that we have a lot of things that most of the things that we have in my country are not exclusive for my country. So, for example, the religion Christianity.
Yeah.
So the most important holidays are from there. And an interesting fact is that we have 2 Independence Days because
Wow.
we were occupied by Russians twice in a row. We have got our independence, and then we were occupied again, and then we needed to have another Independence Day. So yeah. So we have to. I think that in Europe, we are one of the countries that has almost the most public holidays that you can just not work during those days.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm sure some of us would really love living there.
For sure.
Now, okay, so you're here in Taiwan. So my question, which I always ask all foreigners who I've met, why Taiwan and why Ming Chuan University?
Well, Ming Chuan University is pretty simple because my university, that was the only university that my university offered to go for exchange in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So automatically, if I want to go to Taiwan, I need to go to Ming Chuan. So yeah. Plus, I also really like the courses. I was mainly really curious about the journalism course and the fashion innovation one, and also I was kind of curious about some of the Mandarin course as well. But I don't have them anymore. So yeah, but yeah, and Taiwan, I would say that it was a really personal choice.
Yeah.
It was a really personal choice because a lot of factors just came all together, and I just saw that Taiwan is the perfect country for me right now. I really appreciate. I think that my country and Taiwan, we have a lot of similarities. First of all, we have a great relationship with my country. Yeah, we do. That Lithuania has stood up for Taiwan. I think approximately like 5 or 6 years ago, and we also have the embassy, official
Yeah.
embassy of Taiwan in our country as well. So we kind of cut our ties with China in like a week. I think it was like very sudden.
Wow.
So our main friends now in Asia are Taiwan, and I think that Taiwan has a really like we have similar things that we went through. We also went through a lot of let's say being terrorized by a bigger neighbor. Let's name it like that. So we had it like this as well. So we are kind of like we have a lot of things that we relate to with Taiwanese, I believe.
Oh.
And also about the culture, and I would say mainly the language because I've been learning already Mandarin for some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. You know, I really didn't know that they actually cut ties with China like immediately after, like in a week.
Well, it was China that cut ties of us, obviously, because
Wow.
yeah, we basically named Taiwan as a country, and then China immediately cut all of the economical ties that we had.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I know when we first spoke, like when we first met, you did speak about some experiences that you had in Taiwan. But I would like you to right now tell our viewers what was your first impression of Taiwan and Ming Chuan University.
I would say it's 2 very different experiences. With Taiwan, when I first came here, I realized that it was very much the way that I have expected. To be honest, Taiwan has not. There were no things that you expect one and then you get another. I heard that people have a lot about it, especially like the further you come from, because still the content online about countries and stuff, it is much more filtered. They usually show the good parts of the country or only this, only those certain areas. So Taiwan has really left a great impression on me. I think it's an amazing country. And Ming Chuan University, I would say I definitely didn't expect that it's on the mountain. That's the first thing.
First thing you see is the stairs.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. And to be honest, I also I had some culture shocks as well, but I think
Yeah.
that you also maybe we'll ask about it later on.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah, but the first impression, I would say that it was just that, and also in Ming Chuan, I would say that it was mixed. I was expecting a little bit more of like a tough per se educational system, more like holding everyone,
Accountable.
basically more strict teachers, more strict tests, more strict rules. So I was a little bit surprised that Taiwan is really, I think, very chill as an
Yeah.
Asian country. Very
So
Yeah.
my question towards that is, when it comes to schools in Netherlands or even in Lithuania, is it like more strict there in terms of the schooling system?
I would say in Lithuania, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we still have a lot of like older system things. For example, in the Netherlands, it's very like it's trying to be very modern. It's trying to be like outside of the box, constantly try new things, constantly new courses, this and that. So like a lot of things that are only, I would say, I've only seen in those universities there. So yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, I don't know. I just had this like image that here the universities would be more strict in terms of that.
Oh. Okay, okay. So I know that before you said that you didn't have any major disappointments about Taiwan, but you said that you had some culture shocks.
Yeah, a
So
little
can
bit.
you please tell us a little bit about those culture shocks that you did have?
I would say one of the most ones that like has touched me was the regime of the day that like I am very not used to people sleeping during the day.
Yeah.
Basically the napping culture. I mean, some of my friends do it as well in Europe, but now that I think about it, I think most of them also come from Asia, the ones that do it.
Yeah.
For example, I have plenty of Vietnamese friends. They also like to nap in the middle of the day. For me, it's very like it's very strange, and I think that in Europe in general we don't really have it. Maybe in the south part we do have it more, but in where I live, I've never experienced that. So that was a little bit weird for me because then when you nap during the day, then you also stay up much longer during the
Yeah.
night. So I was a little bit like, I would say that there were some times that I couldn't get enough sleep because I wanted to go sleep already, but my roommates were doing something else during the
Yeah.
time.
Well, I understand what you mean about the napping culture. I myself have felt into it. I now nap in the day. So, but as you said before, it's hard to sleep in the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It kind of messes up with my rhythm at least now, but I think that maybe I will adapt to it, or maybe I'll bring it to Europe. We'll see. Maybe I'll be napping during the day.
Maybe. Now, what has been your biggest challenge so far being here in Taiwan?
Mm, I would say that most of my challenges that I faced were not related to Taiwan in the first place.
Okay.
At least for that, because for example, I had a lot of experiences that I had experienced for the first time, but it's not really related to Taiwan. So for example, that living in a dorm.
Yeah.
I have never lived in the dorm, and I also my sibling has not ever lived with me in the same room. So that was a big thing for me to like be
Yeah.
able to like
Sure.
find your peace in a place where there's constantly people there.
Yeah.
So that was something that I needed to adjust to, and just in general, yeah, just making friends. I would say that the Taiwanese are very friendly, for sure. However, I think as an exchange student, and I don't know if others will also relate to that as the international students, I believe that once again, and maybe it's not only the Taiwan's thing, maybe it's also just like in other universities as well.
Yeah.
But I believe that here, as exchange students, we are a little bit isolated, it's kind of like that you only live in the dorm with the internationals, then you only have the school with internationals, and then you mostly also hang out with internationals. And the thing is, I feel like if you come to a country on your own will that you really want to get to know, you're like, you do want to get to know at least a bit of that culture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I experienced that. I had a little bit of, I had to have my breakthroughs to speak more with the Taiwanese, to get a bit more involved, to not stay in your own bubble of people that, it's also, of course, interesting. However, I have also this bubble in the Netherlands, because it's also really highly international. So, yeah.
So, as you said, you spoke about breaking out of your bubble.
Yeah.
How has that been going?
I would say that at first it's been a bit rough, like socially.
Yeah.
Also because of the time difference, because then in my country, my parents, my friends, my relatives, of course I can speak with them, but it's also then we need to both put effort into that. It's not that they can text me whenever and I'll answer, and it's also not that I will text them whenever and they will answer. So it's very much I needed to get to adjust to be only by myself for like half of the day and only then get my social interactions, especially when I didn't study yet, because I was like in the hotels for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I came here a bit earlier, but then I realized that, oh hell, I'm alone here. I can only speak to the 7-Eleven employee here. Cool. So yeah.
Wait, sorry. Okay, that really caught me off guard. Right. Okay. So, have you really spoken to a 7-Eleven employee?
Of course, but it was like, I'm just like asking about the product and like how much is it? I'm just pretending to be stupid and not to see the actual price. Just making my own problems, honestly.
Anything to speak to someone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But then they also spoke to me back. They told me that I was really pretty and I had a pretty smile. So, a win is a win. A win is a win.
Right. So, one thing I really need to ask you, really need to ask you. This
Go
is
ahead.
probably the most important question. How is the food?
The food.
Yes.
That's the most important question.
Yes.
Well, that's already the first cultural shock, I would say. Because at least, well, once again, I'm also talking about from experience.
Yeah.
But I believe that especially in like the more western parts of Europe, we really don't put that much emphasis on food as it is here. Because, it's also like, once again, so funny that your like most important question, food.
Yeah.
For me, it would be like somewhere, very far away, the last one. So I would say that Taiwanese food, I would say that I'm still haven't explored much of it. I definitely believe that because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
I feel like even if I would stay for 10 years, I would probably not eat everything that there is from Taiwan to offer. But I really do believe that it's a very unique cuisine. I think it's very like, I don't know, like for example, when I come back, I don't know where I would need to go to get some Taiwanese food,
Yeah.
So yeah, but so far I like it. I like that it's not too, a lot of people say that it's bland for them. I don't think so. I think it is like, has the perfect middle of being not too like flavorful and spicy, but still also you can like taste what you're actually eating, the meat and everything else. So I like it.
Well, since we're on the topic of food, can you give us any recommendations? Or any favorites? Yeah.
I would so go for the gay fish again.
What do they call it? What do they call it?
Is Jiayu.
Jiayu.
I'm getting
Am I saying
the
it right?
nod from my from the camera guy. I would say that I ate it when I was in Kenting, in the very, very south of Taiwan, and I would say it was a good freaking fish. Yeah.
So you hear that, guys? Try Jiayu.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I do remember when you said that you went to Kenting, you did, what's it called? Stamps?
Yes.
Can you tell me more about
stamps,
that?
guys. That's the most fun. This is the most important question. Not the food, not the everything. It's the freaking stamps.
My bad.
Absolutely. Guys, do your research. Do your research on the stamps because I haven't. I actually, I've seen that the stamps are popular in Japan. And also, I don't know how big of a culture it is there with the stamps. However, I just saw it on TikTok and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. And I just went through it. And I never would have imagined that they have the same in Taiwan. When I figured it out, I was like, I gotta start doing it. And I started doing it literally after my birthday. I've never been happier. I believe this is the best, the best Taiwan has to offer. The freaking stamps, they're so cute. They're in every MRT station. I love it.
Okay, so just the MRT stations is where you get them from?
There's also basically in the tourist places where you would go, for example, museums. We even got some from the temple, which was, we realized that we have a problem, that we have an addiction for those stamps. God damn it. We went to a temple and the first thing we care about are the freaking stamps. We went to there was like a little office, and we went there, and we were like, "Moisa, yo, man, what to go?" And they were like, "Yo." So yeah, but and also the name stamps are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can also get the name stamps in traditional way, but you can also get it in like the modernized one. So I'm gonna probably get both. If everything will go right. Yeah.
Now, have you learned any? So I know that you know some Mandarin. You studied Mandarin self-taught, right?
Yeah.
Before you came here to Taiwan.
Yeah.
Have you learned any phrases that you'd like to share with us? Anything that are funny or anything that are useful for you?
Oh.
Besides Jayu.
Besides Jayu.
Yes.
Oh my god, I actually have no idea. The only word in my head right now is one that I learned from a Taiwanese friend so far. He taught me how to say, as I understand, playboy in Taiwanese, that it is Janan. So if you want to offend, if you think that a boy is treating you absolutely not the way he's supposed to, call him a Janan.
You hear that, women?
Yeah.
Janan. Use it very wisely.
Very wisely, indeed.
Now I know that you're not a 7-Eleven, a Louisa girly.
Yes, absolutely.
This
love
girl
Louisa.
loves her coffee.
Absolutely.
So, I know that you're a Louisa girly. Is there like any favorite Louisa that you're like into, like favorite Louisa spot? And besides Louisa, what's really your favorite spot to be at here in Taiwan?
In general, in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Louisa, I would say my most favorite one is actually the one next to Ming Chuan.
Ooh.
Because it's good. It's honestly great, and it has like also like a very like nice view out of the window. So I always I had my life crisis there when I was just early there in the morning, and I'm just sitting there. So that Louisa helped me a lot. I really like it. And
Therapeutic.
the employees already know me. They literally, I came there after like a month of not being there. They look at me and they go like, latte with oat milk and cold and to go. And I was like, that's it. You got it. You got it.
You've been there way too many times.
In 2 months, so
right?
goddamn, I really am obsessed then.
Yeah. But besides the Louisa, is there any other favorite spots?
But it's in Taiwan in general, right?
Yeah. In general.
In general in Taiwan. Goddamn, that's a tough question. I did love many places here, honestly. I would say that my most favorite ones would be the temples. I really love temples. And also night markets. I love the vibe of it. I think that it's very thing that like we don't have anything similar in my country like this. Well, we do have some festivals, yeah, sure, but that's something that happens every single day, every single night.
Like
there's a night market there, you know? And I feel like I really, really like it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to lie. It's something that's like really different here.
Yeah.
Like from other countries. Yeah.
I have another one.
Yeah.
That one manga cafe. That one manga cafe in Zhongshan. I cannot stay away from it. It's so cozy. It's so fun. It's so silent. There's plenty of mangas to read, especially if you want to learn Mandarin. It's amazing because they have old mangas, but they also have the new ones that you are actually interested to. I've seen Soul Leveling, all of them there, so it's amazing. I really love spending time there.
So basically, for those who are into mangas and I guess coffee, that's a place you definitely recommend.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So the manga cafe in where?
In Zhongshan.
In Zhongshan. Okay, so now can you tell me about a memorable experience you've had here with some of the local students?
With some of the local students?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question.
Even like campus events.
Campus events. I haven't been to many. You gotta be honest. I haven't been to many because I think that also one of the things in Ming Chuan that at least at least I am not used to is the information flow. Because I feel like as an exchange student, I get to know everything the last. And I always really am grateful for the friends that actually like inform me of like, hey, there's something fun going on there, Emma, we can check it out, or this or this,
Yeah.
Because it's not that. I honestly would be in dark about a lot of things here. So
Thank
So,
God
yeah.
for your friends.
that's true. One of the most fun parts that I had with Taiwanese. I would say when we were nearby the river in Taipei, I think it was Datong this Daocheng. Yeah, this thank you so much for correcting me. But yeah, there's like a place which is nearby the river, and they basically have like outside bars and outside like places to hang out with. So I had a lot of fun there, specifically with Taiwanese.
Awesome. So, like, has your interactions with the Taiwanese have changed, like, any perspectives for you?
I would say yes, a little bit, because I also got a bit more like used to it. I got a little bit also more brave about it, because I used to I used to very much push the idea of like, oh, I must speak to Taiwanese because I want to speak Mandarin, so that's why I need to speak to them a lot. And then when I was forcefully like looking for someone to speak, this is where I couldn't find anyone, because when you search for something in a forceful way, it doesn't come to you, at least in my experience. So yeah, when I finally relaxed with the Mandarin language, and I just thought that, okay, I will learn how much I will learn. It's okay. I cannot just lock myself now in a room and just like only use my time in Taiwan to learn it. I was like, no, it's gonna come naturally. So just enjoy the experience here. Just be here, enjoy it, and this is when I just got a bit more relaxed with the Taiwanese as well. So I didn't care if I speak to them in Mandarin or speak to them in English. I
Yeah.
was still like, just having a good time.
Definitely.
So yeah.
That sounds awesome. Now, what skills do you hope, or experiences do you hope to gain while here in Taiwan?
Experiences.
Yeah.
Well, the first one has to be to get all of my stamp books full.
UND stamps?
They need to be full by the time I leave, because where else am I gonna get those freaking stamps?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the first thing, the first priority here.
Guys, she went to like Kaohsiung for like maybe like a couple days, and when I saw her stamp book, it was packed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also have the stamp from the Southwest 7-Eleven of Taiwan.
Yeah, this
Freaking
girl has
amazing.
been on a mission.
So yeah, and the second thing, I would say that, like, what do I want to gain, right?
Yeah.
I would just really want to be remembered here. Remembered that I leave an impact on at least one person, that they would remember me for, like, that there was this white cute girl in Taiwan once in a day.
With red hair.
Yeah. So yeah, I would want to just make this experience memorable for both me, but also the people that I will leave here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, I would just love to do all of the things that I couldn't do. Not even that anywhere in Asia or in Europe, but just anywhere outside Taiwan. I feel like Taiwan has a lot of experiences that are purely for the Taiwanese, purely in Taiwan. So I would really, really love to get to know it more. And lastly, I would love to dig a bit deeper into the how should I say that? Basically, like the popular religion movements in Taiwan. I've seen one in Kaohsiung. It was like some kind of, I don't remember what kind of event it was, but it looked absolutely like it left such an impression on me. I never remember when I felt this way. It was this similar feeling that, for example, when you go to the church, they say that they've been built for you to be a little bit fearful of God. That it would be a little bit like it gives you
Goosebumps.
Yeah. That is what I felt when I saw that event. I felt like it was, I was admiring it, but it was also like a bit of like you're gonna respect me, and I was like, okay, I will.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would love to experience that once again here.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Emma, you've been here for like quite a while, not too long, but still like not long enough,
True.
right? And it seems like you're having a blast.
Indeed.
Well, I know that you're not going to just stay here in Taiwan. Your exchange is going to be up soon. However, are there any other places in Asia that you'd like to travel?
I've said this to a lot of people already, so
Yeah.
I think that I would just repeat myself that for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that there's anything that I would like basically everything that I wanted from Asia and everything that I was striving to get,
Yeah.
Taiwan offered me everything. So maybe I
Wow.
will be back in Asia one day, but so far I have no plans to visit like another country meanwhile, because honestly I want to say that I have explored and like have stayed in Taiwan. You know, because technically then I could also be like, yeah, I've been also for 2 hours in Shanghai, so technically I visited China too. I don't want those kind of visits, you know. I
Yeah.
want to like visit if I do. So
Mm,
I would say that for so far Taiwan is good.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy that she's having a Taiwanese experience, a good one,
Absolutely.
a great one. Now, what is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you while you've been here?
The funniest one?
Yeah.
God damn. What has been the funniest thing that happened to me here?
Come on, Emma, you must have something. Spill the tea.
Spill the tea.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything on top of my head now.
Okay.
Okay, I can tell one thing.
Uh-huh.
I would say the stairs and the whole elevator situation.
Right?
Because at least for me, it's just like I understand that, for example, if there's like old people or like children or something, I get it. But if you're going from the third floor to the first floor and you wait for 10 minutes for the elevator instead of just going those 2 floors downstairs, for me it is a little bit funny. Like I was just like, I don't know.
And they're always full, the elevator.
Always full, absolutely.
Right?
Especially, yeah. I can imagine if you're going from really far away to like
Yeah.
very, very big distance, of course. Especially if you're going up. If you're going down,
Just walk.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So yeah.
Well, Emma, it seems like you've had a great experience here in Taiwan, and I hope that you continue to have many more great experiences to come.
I hope so too.
It has been a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
It was a pleasure having you. It was so awesome having you to speak to us about your experience as an exchange student, and hopefully your experience and your time here has resonated with some of the other exchange students here, and even some of us who are here for like a longer period of time, because I'm sure we all share similar experiences.
I really hope so.
And for you, our viewers, thank you for tuning in and watching the MCU English News podcast. We really enjoy having you here, and we hope that you come and see the next episode. Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.